Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in. If you are new, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and giving my channel a try. I hope you like what you'll see. Hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you are a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for coming back and talking some stitching with me and sharing my stitching journey along the way. I really do appreciate it. So I'm trying something a little different. I normally will stand up, but I figured you got tired of seeing my head get cut off. What I hold my phone on is just a little bit too short for me to stand, and I'm short. It's not like I'm very tall. So what I did was I put a chair and then I put I'm sitting on a bunch of blankets. I basically have like a booster seat because otherwise you would see just my chin up. So I figured I'd give this a try. So we'll see. Just as something a little different, shake it up. And again, like I said, eventually I'm not sure I'll be filming from this angle, so we'll see what happens along the way. All right, before I show you my stitching, and I touched a lot of projects this week. A few of them probably only have 300-400 stitches in them, but pretty good. And so I'm super excited to show you that. But I did put out a video this past week, an extra one on maybe Tuesday? I don't remember, maybe. It was a scrap with me, number 3, and it was let's make some scrapbook pages. And so I worked on my cross-stitch scrapbook. For those of you who are new or may not have followed along on that part of my journey, I don't plan on fully finishing in any type of display fashion a lot of my cross stitch pieces. I have just this room where my cross stitch would go, unless it's like an ornament of some sort. And even that, I have my mini tree, which I'm looking at right now in the corner. You can't see it. I showed that in a few videos ago. And then a Christmas tree I may put in a corner up here, and that's where I would put all of my cross-stitched pieces. I always had a small Christmas tree, you know, an artificial one, in Connecticut, and I used to put that, I'd put it on Milk Creek so it looked like it was a bigger, taller one out in front of one of the windows in the house, and I would put all of my handcrafted ornaments on that, and I kind of kept that for that. So I may mix and match those. Some of them were paper crafted, some of them were the glass balls that I did glitter with and all that. So even those types of things, ornamental, will most likely stay in this area, which means I only have so much space. I like to stitch. I like to do lots of projects. I don't have the place for it, so I'm putting them in a scrapbook. And some people call them stitchy journals. My stitchy journal is more of like my calendar, so I didn't want to confuse it that way, but you'll see lots of people talk about stitching journals. And that's where they put finished pieces that they may not have something else to do with. Because I have always been a paper crafter, or have been for a long, long time, I just went with the scrapbook. And so that's what I'm going to show you. So the first piece, two of them are 2 different sizes. This first piece is an old stitch of mine. And you can tell because it's 14 count Aida. I'd almost finished it a long time ago. It basically needed just a little bit left, and so when I came back to cross stitch, I did that. I don't necessarily need or want to put it up, so it's going to go in the scrapbook. This is an 8.5 by 11 size. I realized during the video, I think, or right as I was getting everything ready, that I don't have an 8.5 by 11 scrapbook. But one of you, I do have a 9 by 12. One of you made a great suggestion. Just put those in the 9 by 12 and mix and match. And that's what I think I'm going to do. But I do want page protectors that are the 8.5 by 11 size, so it fits in nice and neatly. So this one is not, I'm going to show the second one in the page protector to show you what it looks like. This one is not yet in that. It's just with my, I'm keeping it right now stored with my finished pieces that need something to be done with them. So here we go. So let me show you from a distance first. That's what it looks like. And we'll bring it up close. And I did find the booklet, so I did want to show you. So that one will go in an 8.5 by 11. And if you have any questions, watch the video. I give you all of the, as far as I can remember, I give you links or information about all of the pieces of materials I used, and feel free to ask questions about it. And I also walk through how I finished it, but things don't have to be super elaborate. This one is cardstock and my stitched piece, and that's really it. So you can keep them as simple or as elaborate as you want to do. And this happens to be the chart that came from. It's an old Leisure Arts little booklet. There's 4 charts in it called Hummingbird Quartet. That's what the front looks like. I have thought about doing some more of these, which is why I haven't gotten rid of this. If at some point I choose not to do anymore, or I've done all that I want to do, I will pass it on. But for now, that was this one right here. So there's another one that's the same size, and then there are 2 that are this bigger size. So that's where that came from. I hadn't pulled it out when I did that video, so I was excited to find that I actually knew where it was. All right, let me put those right here. See, I had a plan when I was standing of where I put things, so I have to work on that. The other piece it's a larger piece. It's Betsy's Autumn, and because of the width, it had to go into a 12 by 12, because you'll see I did cut it down a bit, but I wanted it not to be completely, I didn't want to turn sideways, which I could have if I do like a 9 by 12. I can always turn them sideways, but I wanted to do it like this and give it some margin and so on and so forth. So let me show you the book in total. This is a 12 by 12 scrapbook that I got from scrapbook.com. They have all different sizes, different colors in the different sizes. And I'm going to show you in the page protector, and then I'll take it out. So this is a 3-ring binder scrapbook. They're D rings so that they hold it better. And I'm hitting my floss thing. And so you can see it fits nice and easily in the page protector. And then, you'll have a whole bunch of page protectors after that. I just have them all in here. I don't think that many pages of scrapbooked items will work. Now, I do want to finish Cinnamon Stars and have it as a companion piece. And I would put Betsy's Autumn on one side, Cinnamon Stars on the other, so they would basically be side to side as you're looking at them. And this is what it looks like out of the page protector. This one, cardstock, stitch piece, and a little washi tape. So again, didn't go crazy. Oh, and this is probably pattern paper, the second layer. I don't think, although it's cardstock weight, I believe. So that's what Betsy looks like. So she is all done and complete, and she's in the scrapbook, so she is safe. The page protectors, because the scrapbook industry was always one that wanted things to be acid-free, is in fact acid-free. And I believe nowadays they say it's not full of this chemical or that chemical or all sorts of things. So I have no worry about putting them in the scrapbook. And honestly, I don't know if anybody in my family will appreciate them afterwards, so it may not matter anyway. These are for me. Once I have them, it's almost like a portfolio. If I stuck them in an under the bed box, I have to climb under the bed to get it, to pull it out, to look at things, and then they just get stuck under the bed again. This way, I have them in a book I can flip through and I can enjoy looking at them. So I am super excited. I enjoyed those 2 pages. I'm working on a small 6x8 piece right now. I'm putting 2 pieces on it. That's another thing. You don't have to have 1 page per piece. So that one will probably be another simple piece. Again, showing you it doesn't have to be elaborate. All right, let's talk stitching though. Current stitching projects. This first one, now that I finished, and thank you so much for all the love for my shamrock piece. I looked online because I wanted to get a frame to be just the right size. And there was a company where you could just put in, and I meant to write it down so I could ask any of you if you'd used it before, where you write down the measurements of your piece and then the frame is sized such so it works just right. And I didn't think it was super expensive. I mean, I looked on Amazon for generic sizes and the prices were the same. So I figured I would give it a try. I wish I remembered the name. If any of you have done custom sized online kind of framing places, throw me a link, or not even a link, just the name. I can go Google it because I'd love to know your experiences on that, because I do want him and I don't want to just throw him in a pre-done size unless he fits in one that I can find. Otherwise, I want to make sure it's just the right size. But Shamrock was my 25/7 piece. Stitch on a piece for 25 minutes or 25 stitches 7 days a week. And that helped me get him finished. I did not start that 25/7. There is a Facebook group for it if you were interested. Just go look on it on on Facebook. They'll all be the same at some point anyway, won't they? I don't know the full name of it. I'll have to look it up at some point and let you know, but that's where I follow it. And I decided this next piece was going to become my 25/7, and I will keep it 25/7 until it's finished. That was a long-winded way to say I stitched on Autumn Towne. So this is from Autumn Lane Stitchery. It comes, I believe, as a paper or a PDF, depending on what you prefer to use. And that's what it looks like. And I believe I mentioned last time I showed this that they have confirmed that there will be more seasons for the town. I'm trying to figure out where to sit so I can show things, because when I stood, I could show them pretty close. So again, that's what it looks like. And I've got the top part all finished. I'm now down on this bottom part. But do you see this big giant tree right here? I'm actually going to make it bigger. Just to show you that big giant tree. I worked on that all week and it's still not finished. Now, my tree won't look like that because I did not use variegated floss. I am using all DMCs and it's very pretty there. But I'm fine with the way it is right here because all of the different trees are all solid like that, as opposed to some of them being variegated, some of them being solid. I think it works out fine. But if you love variegated, I bet you it would look beautiful and you'd get a really good look on it. So there we go. So let me show you from a distance. That's what it looks like. We are getting close now, coming on up. So there's the top part all done. 18 count fallen leaf fabric from To Die For Fabrics. And that is important because you will see fabric in between. It's a good solid set of stitching, but it's not 100% full coverage. You do see bits of the fabric. So you do want to think about what fabric you'll choose. And then down here, I really hoped I could get this tree finished. That's what I worked on all week. That was it. But that is a big tree. So I'm hoping a couple more days, and then I may go back down here to the pumpkin. Let me look at the picture so I can say what I'm... to some pumpkins down there, and then we do have one more house that we still have to tackle at one point. And there is a little bit of back stitch that I have not done yet that I will go back. It's not a ton. I'm not even sure. No, it's white, so I could. There's a couple places where they do have like smoke rising up, and I wasn't sure what color it was, if you could even notice it, but looking at the picture you can, so I probably would do it. So that's what it looks like. So you'll get to see this one now every week until it's finished. I'm super excited. I'd like to get this one finished. I don't know when the next one will come out, but it would be nice to have this one done before any more come out. Not that, you know, it doesn't really faze me if I have more than one going at once. All right, next. This is a stitch along that I am doing with Sarah Stitches. And the hashtag for it, if you're interested, is hashtag bbdmidnightwatchsal. Stitch along. And Sarah's doing it on a little bit different fabric than I am, but we are both just stitching the picture here. We're not stitching the alphabet or the border. I have seen people though who have put it on social media and they are stitching all of it, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So the hashtag can be, you can stitch it anyway, anyhow you want. Maybe you just want the cat in the moon. I don't know. That would be gorgeous, wouldn't it? Just as a little fun small piece. Well, you're going to see the cat in the moon because my goal was to try to get the moon finished. I didn't quite get there. Are you sensing a trend? I couldn't get the tree finished. I couldn't quite get the moon finished. I tried valiantly, but there we go. So again, show you from a distance before I bring it on up. And then if we come on up close, this is, for example, this one is an 18 count I have to look at my notes here. Bewitched by To Dye For Fabrics. Coming up close, all I have left over here of the moon, and I don't think I even did any more of the roof. I think it was just, oh, well, and there's the bat in the moon too, which that color, thank goodness it's not anywhere else on the piece, because that does fade into this this color fabric. But since it was surrounded by the moon, I knew it was fine. I did have to change this green, and I believe in the description box I tell you what it is, because the called for DMC alternative, this is charted in things besides DMC, but they do provide an alternative. The called for DMC alternative, it blended in a little bit too much. I did stitch a bunch of it, and I wasn't quite loving it, so I did make that a little bit lighter. The DMC alternative for the moon is a blend of two colors. So I think it's coming out really great. So it's not variegated like you'd see here in the picture. But I love the two colors they chose. They have just enough contrast without being too different that it's too obvious. And, but you can still see, especially in person, a little bit of a difference between it. The moon is definitely has a little texture to it. So that's what I've gotten done on that. Now, I won't get this done before Halloween. I don't know if I will keep it up regularly after Halloween. Maybe what I'll do is maybe try to make an effort at least once a month. I hesitate. I know a lot of people will choose, say, I don't know if you'd call it the birth date or the anniversary of when you started it. Or, for example, it's a Halloween sort of stitch, so I could always do it on the, well, not always the 31st, right? There's dark stitching, though. What is it, dark 13? I don't necessarily want to pigeonhole myself to a certain date of the month, but maybe once a month I'll try to get this out and get a little bit done. And then hopefully by next year, I can be at a good point, so when I bring it back out in the fall, we can get a finish with it. Okay, next. Next is Forest from Satsuma Street. That's closer up. That's at a little bit of a distance. And if I bring it close up, you're going to see, my goal has been, and I didn't get it last time because this is a giant tree. My goal is to try to get a tree accession. Now, this tree is also giant, so I don't necessarily see that next time I pick it up. I think you'll just see parts of that done next time I show it to you. But I finished this tree, and you're going to see that little guy too. This is a long, skinnier piece, so that's what it looks like. I don't need to show the full width yet, since it's not done yet. Ooh, it matches my shirt today. I have the bright orange that some of those are. What I love about Satsuma, and I know I've said it before, but every time I do a Satsuma, I really, really enjoy it, is where she has overlaps of elements. So where the trees overlap, she changes the color so it looks like a mixture of the two, which is so beautiful when she does that. This is done on an 18 count Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. It's in 18 count. It's a very nice, subtle, lighter green. I like it for a lot of outdoor, nature-y-ish sort of things. So this is the whole length of it. I'm getting there. I betcha. Am I past? Yep, I'm past the center now. The center was in that tree, the big tree that I just done. This one, I think will end up, oops, we don't want to lose that little guy. We don't, this one will probably end up in the stitching scrapbook. I was already thinking, I was looking at my papers, because this one will be, I usually try to balance off the colors on the cardstocks or any accessories from the colors in the pattern. And this color palette is so unique. I was trying to think of exactly how I would tackle this one, and I don't know yet. This one's going to be a little bit of a fun challenge. So next time you see this, you'll probably only see a partial tree over here. But then after that, we're really plugging along. So this one could get done on a quicker basis than some of my other pieces. Okay. Now, normally for my full coverages, I give them a 10-day rotation. So you'd have actually seen 2 this week. But the piece I was working on last week, I was enjoying the bigger chunks of color. What's funny is somebody had joked with me and said, "Oh, I don't know how you do that. The colors are so dark." And I get it. It could be tough to pick it up with the darker grays and blacks all the time. But I have so many other colorful pieces that I actually don't mind it. And it's not, there's some confetti, but there's not a lot. So I actually really enjoy it. Oh, I should show you what it's going to look like before I show you what I've got. So the piece I'm talking about is Little Red Riding Hood. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Annya. So you can see, except for in the middle with those big pops of red, there's going to be a lot of darker, deeper colors. And there we go. That's what I've got. I continued in all directions across. Some down here. I did fill in some of the open spaces. I worked down here. So this did get 14 days, which would not normally have happened, but I was really enjoying it. And last Monday, I was supposed to have started a new one. And besides the fact that I was enjoying it, I'll talk about Monday later, but I just didn't have it in me to basically take this one, put everything away, take something else out. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to keep going for 2 weeks. So today I will pull out another piece. I don't know which one yet. I'll have to look and see. This is done on just an 18 count white Aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. And it is a huge piece. This is my biggest full coverage I've got. So wrangling all of the fabric. I don't have it down to science yet. You can see actually part of this keeps, this is where because I stitch in hand, so it's folded over so well because that's always folded when I stitch. So we'll see. This one will go away. I almost have, this isn't to page 2. No, this is about the end. No, this is the end of page 1. And this is probably, so I am almost done with the first page, which is exciting because this is probably the closest I have of mine to a full page kind of finish. But this will go away now and something else will come out. Okay. This next one I love doing so much. I really, really enjoy it. It's Jan Hicks Creates Carolyns Balloons Autumn. Isn't that pretty? I love the kind of Quaker vibe. I like the balloons. I love that so much. This is done on a bit more of a neutrally color. I decided to change it up just slightly, and I chose this fabric so it would look like the balloons were lifting up in the air. So that's what it looks like. That is 18 count, where am I? You could probably tell me by now. Car wash from Fortnight Fabrics. And if we come close, this balloon, this is a big balloon. I think I also did this element in this because I got a little tired of balloon at one point. But that's what I did. I was looking at this though, and I was thinking, these little balloons would be really cute. Well, this one might be too big. This one's probably too big. I have to take out my little 3.5 by 2.5 template for my trading cards. I might be able to do, maybe this balloon would fit. Wouldn't that be cute to make as a trading card too? So I may end up, you may end up seeing some of these balloons in another type of medium if I decide to make a trading card out of 1 or 2 of the balloons. So that's a lot of fun. I get a little bit more bang for that pattern because I'll be able to use it in multiple ways. Which way I will go next, I don't know. I really like the color of this balloon, or I could just go, this is like a half balloon, and then that's the edge, and have that finish there. We'll see. I have 2 little elements and then maybe the balloon. So maybe that's the way I'll go. I'm not really sure. I am all discombobulated today. It's the sitting. Let me know if you can see everything okay if I sit. If not, I'll just go back to cutting my head off of it and standing. So yeah, which direction I will go, if I had to guess, if I know myself, I might go this way just to have the whole top edge complete type of thing. But that's Carolyns balloons. And if you're stitching it, let me know. I'd love to see what you chose to stitch it on. You know that I love seeing what kind of patterns everybody uses. Speaking of trading cards, I did finish, not fully finished, but I finished the stitching on this one. And I took, first, let me show you the regular pattern. I took it from the Autumn Littles set from Waxing Moon Designs. And I chose this owl. I did not do the leaves or the border. You know, I didn't even do the grass because I might create the grass with some cardstock. I haven't decided yet. And the leaves I'll probably make, I'll use my brads. So isn't it cute? This is 18 count Vintage Country Mocha. Yep, I do use it once in a while. You will see me use neutrals every once in a while. I kept everything the same. Remember I talked about last week whether or not I would do the pumpkins on either side or just have it just a complete kind of vertical element. But I decided I liked the different colored pumpkins. And so I kept them. And I don't think I changed any colors. These are, well, there are a couple called for DMCs, but otherwise it's overdyed flosses with a DMC alternative. And Waxing Moon is a challenge. I like their patterns, but with the symbol, they give you either the called for DMC or the overdyed. But then the conversion from the overdyed to the DMC is on another chart. So if I was doing a bigger piece, I would write down everything next to each other. I didn't bother with these small pieces because they're small. But I have some of the houses that I will tackle at some point of Waxing Moon, and I would change up how that is. I would have everything on one page. But there we go. These little guys are quick, fun stitches if you were looking on doing some quick ornaments. If you had like a autumn fall sort of tree. They're all super cute. There is a turkey actually. So that one could be more, well, it's still the fall, but it could be a little bit more like Thanksgiving-ish related. But this guy will be, I think this will be an easy finish because I know kind of what I want to do. I think I'm going to make him horizontal. I was going to stitch the grass, but then like I told you, I might do a cardstock grass and then I'll put a few of the leaf brads around him rather than having stitched it. And I think now, I had a few other fall littles that I was going to stitch, including some from here, but I think I have enough for trading purposes, so I might do some other types. I don't know what you'll see next time I'm working on a trading card. I haven't decided what yet. It's a surprise. So I wasn't planning on 2 starts this week. I was only going to do one. I was going to pick one of my pumpkin birthday stitches. And I'll tell you when I get to the second one, I couldn't help myself. But this one I love so much. This is Frony Ritter Designs, and it's Celtic Pumpkin. Isn't that beautiful? There are beads, and I'll worry about it when it comes to it, because this is stitched, the model is stitched on 28 count, which would be equivalent to a 14. I'm stitching on an 18 count, my preferred. So I don't know if I'm going to have trouble with the sizes of the beads, but that's a problem for another day. I'm not going to borrow any trouble. I'm just enjoying the stitched part of it. And what's really nice with Frony Ritter is if you do not want to, or maybe you can't get the beads or whatever, they actually do give you DMC conversions for the beaded sections. So it can be all stitched in flosses instead. And it is all charted in DMCs plus the beads. Now isn't this cute though? It's small too. You're gonna see when I show you my piece of fabric. It's a 79 by 79 stitch. So on 28 count, that's just a 6 by 6. So super cute. And that's what I've got so far. There's actually 3 different greens in that leaf. And then one of, do you see the lighter, there's a lighter green, there's the stem between the leaves, the darker green, that's stitched. And there's a lighter one, which is beaded or stitched if you so choose. So you won't see that until I get to the end and decide if I'm going to bead, or if the beads don't work size-wise, I might stitch. Now, as you can see by the white, this is a printed fabric. It's a dove stitch. I went back and I looked at my Etsy purchases for fabrics. I couldn't figure out how I could search for a store. I could only search by keywords. I realized how much to die for fabrics I've bought from Kimberly, but I love her fabric, so I'm not stopping. But it took me a while to find this. I think, excuse me, because over the course of time that I have bought different things from Dove Stitch on Etsy, and they do have a website, but I know I would have bought from the Etsy shop. There's two different greens that it could have been, but I think the other one is darker, and I think the name goes more with the darker. So I am guessing that this is Barely Lime. I'm not going to swear to it, but as far as I can figure out, it is 18 count Barely Lime from dovestitch.com. And I want to say their Etsy store is actually written all the way out, dovestitch.com. And then their non-Etsy site might be Dove Stitch with the real .com. So isn't it cute though? I think it's going to be so cute because it's only going to come to maybe around there and be a nice little, nice little square. So this one didn't get a huge start, but it's more stitches as usual. It's more stitches than you realize. And I love these greens on this fabric. I think the purple, not the purples. No, there's no purples. I think the oranges are going to pop because, you know, I'm looking at the color that's going to be most against the fabric. And I think it's going to look so nice when I get to them. I'm really tempted to kind of skip this part and not do just border, but to go over to the pumpkin to see what it looks like. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But let me know if the beads are Mill Hill beads and they have the numbers for them. If it's just a general Mill Hill, will I have a problem if I'm doing it on 18 count, even though their called for is 14? Because that will make my decision really quick for me because it's so pretty. I want to be able to do it in those lines, but if it's not going to work, we got to come up with a solution. All right, next is actually, and I didn't even realize I was doing this, but I have a whole bunch of projects on Dove Stitch, and I kind of worked on them all in a row this week. So next, remember I told you, I don't know, I think it's going to be a lofty goal. This is Samhain in Salem from Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. And I am working on the yellow house right now. That's the house I'm working on. And my goal was to try to get the house finished. That's it. That's all I wanted to do by the end of October, by Halloween. I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think so. So let me show you full piece. And I will tell you the story about my sizing. My sizing is a little bit dicey. And what kills me is I have all this room here. This will be scrapbooked. I already have done, I think it's Christmas in Nantucket, maybe? I don't remember. I've done one of them, and all four of these will probably be scrapbooked page type of thing with the 4 different seasons. Because I'll probably, at some point, and this will be down the road if I can't even get this one house done, I would like to do all 4 of them. So there it is. This is 18 count. Let me show you the full effect. That's called Old Library Marble from Dove Stitch. As you can see, printed just white on the back. I thought this one was cool as kind of just the old pieces of it and the different kinds of lines for a piece that is more Halloween-y-ish, fall-ish. I thought that would look good. So I did finish, I keep plugging away at the house, and I did all of this window in the window box and all of that. So I have the house where you see here, it does end. There are a couple of rows, let me see, two rows of foundation. So that would go quick down here. But here's a big door right here. And the door, you know, there's the trim surrounding the door, there's a wreath on the door. There's some more pumpkins down here. And so I have a decent amount to do on this one yet. I'm not sure. I know today is today's the 21st. So I have all next week. And then I have through, what's the 31st? The 31st is Monday. So I have a few days after next week's video to maybe try to get in another session of stitching on this. So if I have 2 good stitching sessions, maybe I'll get it done. I'm not 100% sure. Last week, the last time I did this or showed this piece, I talked about the fact that as I was stitching it, I realized this house is a little bit closer to the center than I'm comfortable with. So I went and I counted all the way across. And if I stitch this as Julie has it charted, I will be pretty much right here. Now, normally that wouldn't be a problem, but part of the edges is selvage, which I'm definitely cutting off when I scrapbook. I would just want the actual fabric part of it. So I got a bit concerned. But if you look at the piece, the houses themselves are actually about 10 to 11 spaces set between them. Now, I'm sure she had to do that because you can either stitch Samhain and Salem, or I believe she also has Halloween and Salem charted, so you can stitch those. So obviously she had to make the houses a little bit apart so that it would accommodate the wording and then the gorgeous fence that she's created. But I don't plan on doing any of the wording. I want to just do, look at that fence. See how much fun that fence is? I just want to do fence. Now, I might have to do a bit of creative counting. I'll have to do all of the counting to make sure it comes out equal on both sides, since I'm not doing the wording. But I have plenty of room. At least, I'll probably make the houses maybe 5 squares apart rather than 10 or 11. So they'll be a little bit closer. They won't be quite as far distance-wise from each other, but that would give me plenty of space. The houses themselves are pretty straight up and down. I want to say in Christmas, a few times there was some greenery that went out, so you had to be a bit creative if you were making the houses any closer or whatever. But here, I don't think it'll be a problem. So I think that's my solution, since I didn't count right, obviously, when I cut it, and I did a little bit more than I needed on here. Now, to be fair, I didn't necessarily know 100% I was going to scrapbook it when I cut this piece, but now that I know, I certainly don't need a margin that wide. So that's the plan with that. So this will look slightly different in that the houses will be closer to each other, and that there will be all fencing down here when I get to it. When I get to it a long time from now. All right, I have 2 more. The next one. This next one didn't get a lot of work, so there's not a ton to show you, but it is part of my pumpkin stitches. Oh, there's fluff on this that does not want to come off. So I thought I would give it just a little bit of time. It probably has 300-400 stitches maybe. It is Ye Old Crow from Heart and Hand. I did keep it monochromatic, and I did keep it, I'm using not 310, I'm using Anchor Black. But I did change up the fabric. So while it does have a pumpkin, I also wanted to use kind of a pumpkin-y-ish fabric as part of my stitch along. And that's what I did. So that's what it looks like. This right here is Pumpkin Spice 18 count from Dove Stitch. So it's the last of the printed pieces that I'll have here today to show you. I just have I have a small little piece of it. It's perfect. I'll have room for some other smalls. And I just worked on more alphabet. It's just more and more alphabet. It's cute though, because the alphabet, some of the letters are sideways. They're not just, you know, they're not even across. They're up and they're down. I think once the alphabet done, I think in general this will be a fairly quick, if I just sat and gave it extra attention. I like that it's monochromatic, so that if I want something that I don't want to give a ton of time to, I can do that. All right, I have one more. Don't worry that the stitching part of this video is really long, because I have one thing to show you for shopping. That's it. So that part of the video is going to whiz by. All right, my last start. So originally I was only going to do the one start, and it was between this one or my Celtic pumpkin. I had the fabric for Celtic pumpkin, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. And then I was in my craft room, I was looking through my fabrics, and I said, well, let's just look. I originally, these are my, they're called autumn gnomes. I originally was going to do it on some sort of green, and I had pulled it. I don't even know if I showed it when I went through what I was going to work on this month. But then I saw the picture, and I saw the background. I'm not stitching those background squares. I saw the background was on a yellow, and I really, or was the color of the flosses were shades of yellow. And I really liked that kind of shade. So I went through my fabrics, and I decided, I grabbed the flosses and the fabric, and I did a little floss toss. I am doing this little guy here with the brown hat. I looked at it on this fabric, and I love how the colors are gonna look. Now you're not gonna see much. Oh, you don't need the striped hat guy, because that's not the one I'm doing. This hat is huge. I'm almost at the point where I can start adding more color, but I'm not there yet. So you're going to have to envision all of the beautiful oranges on this fabric. I think it's going to be really nice. Let me show you what I have. From a distance, it doesn't look like much, but look at the fabric. These gnomes, they are a good size. I don't know if I have the material, the numbers I wrote down. It is basically a 6 by 12 before I add any margins. So he's 12 inches tall. So he's a good size. This fabric, this is an 18 count buttercream from To Die For Fabrics. Look at that pretty. I don't know if I don't know if the camera's picking up the beautiful, beautiful, subtle yellow tones to this. I think I'm gonna have to order more of this. I love this color, and I think so many things would look good. If I hadn't gone bright for my summer Jardin Privé, this color, if I was doing it in more subtle tones, this color would look good. Maybe I'll do some of those seasonal and the different ones in different shades, and this color may come up again. But isn't that beautiful? Not the set of brown stitching, but the fabric. Otherwise, there are 2 browns there, and a good portion of the hat then starts to go between those 2. And then on this side, though, I'll be able to start with some of the, I want to say greenery, but it's in beautiful orange and reddish tones. I think it's going to look so pretty. I cannot wait to get to that part to show you. But I was so excited to have found this fabric, and when I threw the flosses on it, they looked so pretty that I said I have to start this. So I did end up doing a second start this week. This is probably the biggest of the starts that I have for my pumpkin birthday stitch along. I have a few more that were in as potentials that are smaller, which may or may not get started. We'll see at this point, because I really only have, well, this weekend's my birthday, but I'm basically calling all of October my birthday, my birthday month. So I have time to start others, but I don't know if I really am enjoying, I love this one in Celtic Pumpkin so much that they just might get some more extra love before starting another piece. But there it is. Hopefully next time you see it, there will be some more beautiful colors attached to it. I have a feeling I'll be stitching on this this week. I really, really like that. So that's it. That is my stitching. I referenced that I have a hashtag for my birthday month. It is hashtag pumpkin birthday sal, stitch along. So if you're joining me, please let me know. I want to know what you're stitching on. And I'd have to go back, and I may at the end of the month just do a recap of the pieces that I designated as pumpkin stitching for this month, just to show you what I started, where I am on everything. And I don't know if I'll get any finishes, but that's okay. It's the journey for me, right? So that's really just the plans, is to continue with my pumpkin stitches. Beyond stitching, I want to finish that little owl ATC, so he'll be ready to go. And then I'm looking right now, the table's right here. I'm looking at the small 6x8 piece that I am thinking about scrapbooking. Maybe I will get that one finished. It would be a simple one, so I wouldn't have to do an extra video for that. So maybe I'll get, oh, you know what I've been doing? I cut down half of, I haven't done all of it. So Halloween calendar, I did it all, right? I finished that a few weeks ago. I'm cutting them all down. All I'm going to do, because I think in order to get them all on that little mini tree, I have to keep them small. So I originally thought I would layer them with the piece over some overboard, and then I would do another piece with fabric overboard and layer them. But I think that will make them too big. So these are going to be tiny. They're going to be little small 2 1/4 little ornaments, 2 1/4 inch little ornaments. And the only thing I want to think about is what kind of hanger. I had some fun ribbon before I moved, and I couldn't bring it all down, and I have a feeling I ended up donating it. Obviously, I need a nice thin, and this ribbon was 1/8 of an inch, so it was really a nice, wonderful, small size. And I don't remember what brand, so I don't even know how to look for it again. I may end up, because the pieces are in different colors fabric, I may try to find 2 or 3 different ribbons, so that can be a little bit different. So basically they're going to be small little ornaments on the board, some felt backing with a little hanger, and that probably will be it, because the point is to have them all on the tree. And I don't want them necessarily on the back side of the tree, because you can only see certain sides of it. So I want to keep them simple and able to be looked at. So we will see. I don't know if I can get all, well, I have a week and a half, right? Because Halloween is not until the 31st. So I might, that gives me a little bit of extra time. Next video, that would be a stretch. Maybe the video afterward, that as we start into November, I might have it finished. So I might have something fun to show you. But I did start cutting those all down. I have a couple that I really kind of fudged sizing wise, so that could be an issue. I put those to the side. I'm putting that off until I have to. All right, shopping. All I have to do is show you one thing shopping. Heaven and Earth Designs had a Halloween sale, which I believe is, yes, it's over at this point in time. I went and I looked at my wish list, and I looked at my minis. I picked up a couple of them, but the one I wanted to show you is I was enabled. I was enabled by Mandy Parker. Mandy has a Flosstube, and she just put out a video, and I'm hoping she shows this one, because I think she showed it on Instagram. When she started stitching it, you're going to know color-wise why I picked this one. I loved it so much that it immediately went on my wish list. So when Heaven and Earth had their sale, I threw that one in the cart. So it's called Mini Sea Opal. Elizabeth Welker is the artist. And it's just, look at all those beautiful shades of blue. I love, love, love that. And I'm watching Mandy do it, and it looks so pretty as she's stitching it up. So I did get that one. These sales sometimes are just too good. Those minis are $6 when they're on sale. So we'll see. It gives me choices of something that I might want to start at some point. Okay, so that's it for shopping. Giveaways. Let me reach over here. This week, oh, and I threw the names in the bucket, but I got to move them around. I'll try to do one hand moving it around while I'm talking on this. Because I finished Halloween calendar, and I don't see myself stitching it. Either the small pieces, I know they could have been stitched as artist trading cards, but I'll have the true stitched pieces. I could figure it out and just fudge the colors, but I could count what they are from my stitched piece if I really wanted to stitch one of them again. I don't plan on stitching it as a big piece. I did think about stitching that as a top, like a tree topper, but the way this tree is, I don't think it would necessarily work. So I decided that wasn't worth it enough for me to keep. And I'd like to pass it on and pass the stash to somebody else. So it has been used. The corners are slightly dinged up, but I didn't write in it or anything like that. So it's fine. It's readable. It should be just fine otherwise. Quite a few of you has put the word moon in your comments saying that you would like to stitch it. And I love how some of you said how you might try to stitch it or whatever. So that was a lot of fun. So let me pull apart a name as I pull apart the pieces. And our winner is, who's our winner? Let me put it away here. Debbie K. Congratulations, Debbie. You won. So if you could please give me your name, send me your name either through Gmail. My Gmail address is down below, or Instagram. It's down below. A message, I will get this out to you. Okay, this week's giveaway. Where did I put it? There we go. Okay. As a reminder, I don't always necessarily remember to say it, but it is a reminder that I have to keep repeating for giveaways. Just a few rules. Please be 18 or older so that you can give me your name, your address, I should say. Please don't say giveaway or free. I think at this point, most of you know this so well because that's a request from most Flosstubers who do giveaways. So I don't necessarily normally ever see that being a problem. And then I would ask if you could please be a subscriber. And I do not check. So subscribers are either public or private. I can only see when you make things public. I don't see you're a subscriber when it's private, but it's an honor system. I'm not requiring you to be public so that I can see it or anything along those lines. I respect your privacy. And so if you would like to keep your subscriptions private, that is absolutely fine with me. I just ask honor system that you have subscribed to my channel. And if you haven't, please do so. All right. This week's giveaway, this was sent to me so that I could pass it on. So thank you very much for your generosity. And it is a piece of fabric. And this is what it looks like. It is, can you see up close? Really, really, really small holes. So I measured edge to edge. It's a 14 by 12 piece of fabric. I was going to measure what count it was, but then I looked at the holes and my eyes this morning said, yeah, no, I'm not going to count an inch's worth of holes for to give an exact count. But suffice it to say, it's, I don't know, 28, 32, 36, I'm not really sure, but it's small. And the word actually to put your name in the bowl for the fabric is small because it is so small. So I said, as soon as I thought of it, I'm like, that's going to be my word. But it's a very pretty color. There are a lot of things that would look really nice against that. And I didn't iron it, but it'll look nicer when I send it out to you, whoever happens to win this. So if you just put the word small anywhere in your comment, doesn't have to be. I love when you guys do put them in cute sentences, but it doesn't have to be. And then next video, I will choose a winner for that. And that's kind of along the browns and the autumn shades and so on and so forth. Not that I necessarily do all my giveaways to match that, but I saw this and I said I'd like to pass along the generosity that somebody had sending this to me. So that's this week's giveaway. And that's it. That's the stitching part. So if you're only here for stitching, well, thank you so much for sticking the way along this far. Life stuff, I have a little bit of life stuff to talk about, and then we'll head on off to you to stitch and me with I have some plans today. Okay, so last time I saw you, thank you so much for all of your wonderful words about me spending some time with Megan. It was a lot of fun. You know, it was sad to see her go. I was so nervous. She left on Friday afternoon. She was driving up to school. This is the first time she's done that with the car by herself and actually done the driving. So I was like, you have GPS, right? And it's so funny because we got everywhere without GPS, right? We had, well, even before you had MapQuest where you printed off the directions, you just had a map. But I remember the times where you print off the MapQuest and you're trying to drive somewhere and you're trying to look and see. Oh, it's a disaster. So GPS was a wonderful invention. But anyway, she made it safe and sound. I think it took her about 2.5 hours. She hit a little bit of traffic on a Friday afternoon, but she did make it. So that's good. Then it's funny because then Saturday afternoon, Mo and I were thinking about that as it's getting near the end of November, it's starting to get a little cold, October, it's starting to get a little colder. We should probably get our booster, the new booster that's just to be kind of on the safe side. So and I don't have a rhyme or reason why both of us went the direction we did. So he started, well, I know why we started. His doctor's office had provided links originally to the Pfizer. So he's gotten Pfizer all the way through. The way my doctors, I couldn't get appointments early on back then. And so I ended up going Moderna down here in Delaware. So I've been doing Moderna all the way through. So I know you can mix and match. And I don't know why either one of us, we just continue to do either Pfizer or Moderna. So he was able to get an appointment Saturday on Sunday, like right away. I was like, cool. I was looking for one for Moderna and it was like a week's wait. Well, then I happened to look, I went and then did, CVS's. There was just, unless I wanted to travel to New Jersey, I could have seen some of my New Jersey stitching friends. But I was able to, I switched around a bunch of different pharmacies. And I finally found the Giant Pharmacy was doing them, and they were some for Sunday, the same day. So we literally had appointments at 2 different places the same exact time. So we're like, okay, that doesn't waste all of our Sunday. So we both got our shots on Sunday. And for the most part, well, he's had next to no side effects ever. His first 2 shots, he wouldn't have even known he had anything. So Sunday of last week, my arm was a little sore, but that was about it. We were both drinking lots of water because that's the one thing I remember the doctor originally telling me, just hydrate, drink lots of water when you're getting the shot. So we were doing that. Well, Monday I woke up. He was fine, of course, right? Arm a little sore. No big deal. I was feeling okay. I wasn't feeling sick. My arm hurt, but it had hurt the first booster. My arm had hurt quite a bit. Not debilitating. I could still use it, but I felt it and I couldn't sleep on that side. So I was tired. I didn't sleep Sunday night. I was tired. My arm hurt. And I said, see, this is where I went wrong, I think. I didn't stop to think about taking care of myself gently. I was thinking of my 20-year-old self when I could just barrel through things and feel just fine. I said that morning, okay, what I'm going to do, I feel all right. I'm going to give myself a hard workout, and that's going to jazz things up, and I'm going to feel great. Now, I mean, my hard workout, a lot of people would be like, okay, whatever. But for me, it wasn't as high intensity as I could go, but it was a high moderate. So it was definitely an intense moderate. It was on that end of the spectrum when I should have been doing a nice gentle workout. And I did it it was like a 30-minute workout. I felt great working out. I did it. Then I finished and I slowly started to feel worse and worse and worse as the day went on. It was the biggest mistake I could have made. Now, I probably still would have felt sick-ish if I hadn't done that, but I didn't do myself any favors. And it's funny because I had a doctor's appointment that day. So, of course, I was feeling it. And, my heart rate was up, and I don't do well at the doctor's offices for blood pressure. I always have at home, I'm fine, but at the doctor's office, it always goes up. And they all know that at this point. So it's funny because when she took the blood pressure, I was like, oh, that's really not that bad for my that's my normal doctor's office blood pressure, when I thought it was going to be skyrocketed. Because by the afternoon of Monday, I know I had a fever. I had a fever. I was really tired. My arm hurt, and I wasn't in the mood. But I had the appointment. I wanted to get it done. I should have pushed it off, but I didn't. Sometimes it's hard to get appointments after that if you push them off, right? So, I went, of course, I went when I was sick, and the doctor's like, well, we're going to do some more follow-up things, which are going to be fine, but whatever. I'd rather be safe than sorry. but I just didn't feel good at all. So that night I said to Mo, we're making chickpea noodle soup. That's when I don't feel good. Instead of chicken noodle soup, we do chickpea noodle soup. It's a wonderful soup with onion and garlic and ginger and turmeric. So it's all great warming types of things and spices. And Monday night I said, gosh, my arm's really hurting. Now I had never gotten this before, but I ended up, and I have them put, how dedicated am I to stitching? I always have them put the shot in the right arm because my left arm is my stitching arm. I'm like, I don't want my stitching arm to hurt. So I did it in the right arm. I ended up with the COVID arm rash, which is the very first time I've ever had it. I didn't get it with any of the other 3 shots. And it was, I don't know if any of you have had it. Originally, I think they called it rare, but I think more and more people are getting it just because, you know, your immune system's working. This was a good thing that I had Google, because I Googled it, and right away they're like, oh yeah, that's just your immune system working. It's harmless, it's whatever. Because I was like, is that an allergic reaction? Should I be calling the doctor? But no, it fit the bill exactly of what it was supposed to be. So big, giant, bright red circle. My arm hurt. It was hot. It was hard a little bit type of thing. I went to the pharmacist the next day and I asked her just to be on the safe side. She said, oh, no, I got that too for one of my shots. No biggie. And she said it took her about 4 days to get it. Now, I got mine pretty quickly. I know when I looked online, some people don't get it till like 7 days afterwards. But I'm wondering, because this is the 4th shot, my immune system's kicking in really quickly because I've seen this before. So I can actually touch my arm now. It is 4 days. I didn't give it a close look this morning, but it has been getting better each day. Last night it wasn't bright red anymore. It was a faded red. It was still there. It's not as hot. It's not as sore. You'd have to like punch me in the arm to make it sore, which would hurt anyway. So that's getting better. I did ice it. After icing it, I should have iced it sooner. I'm my own worst enemy. I should have taken my Tylenol sooner, and I should have iced it sooner. I probably would have felt better faster, but I like to tough things out. It's really silly, but that's what I did. One of these days I'll learn my lesson. But if you do get it, Tylenol and ice really did wonders for it as well. So needless to say, Monday was kind of an off day. It started so promising. It just went downhill as the day went on and on and on. And then I was tired on Tuesday because I still had trouble sleeping, because I'm a side sleeper and I like to switch. I don't stay on one side all night because I'm a restless sleeper. I've always been a restless sleeper, but as a kid, I was a good sleeper, even though I was restless. Now, not so much. So I kept wanting to turn, and it kept hurting and whatever. So finally, I think it was Wednesday night, I got a decent night's sleep because I could finally turn on that side. As much as decent is for me. Let's qualify that. Some of you are champion sleepers, not me. So anyway, definitely earlier in the week, which is another reason why I decided I'm just going to continue with the full coverage I've got going, because it's already all out. The thought of having to redo everything when I didn't feel great. So I had a blanket on me and I just kind of holed up. I watched Flosstube. I probably watched some TV shows. I don't really remember, but I do remember having the blanket because I was cold and hot and the whole bit. And my stitching arm did not hurt. So I was able to prop, Linda made me this pillow a long time ago, a stitching-ish pillow, and I was able to prop my arm on it in such a way that I didn't have to move my arm, so my arm didn't hurt while I was stitching. So I kind of just settled in, and the beginning of the week, that's what I did. So Linda, your pillow came in really, really handy. Thank you. And then, so the rest of the week has been kind of getting myself back to normal. And again, darn him, Mo, he felt fine. He was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. Of course you are. Just not fair. But I have been still drinking my water, and I mean a lot of water. I have been really, really drinking to keep my system up and running. And yeah, so anyway, so this weekend, this Sunday is my birthday. I don't think Sunday is supposed to be very nice weather-wise, so I might just, this weekend is also 24 hours of cross stitch, so I may just combine the two, and especially on Sunday, sit and stitch and just kind of relax, especially if it's kind of rainy and dreary. But today, Friday, and tomorrow, Saturday, are supposed to be beautiful, in the 60s and sunny and the whole bit. So Mo has taken a half day of work today, and fingers crossed, hopefully, something big doesn't pop that he has to work on. He's had a really stressful, tough week. He needs this half day. So I'm really hoping he can take it. And we're going to go to lunch and at one of the restaurants down at the beach. And it's really cool outdoor seating, and there's the beach, there's umbrellas, and there's actually sand, and it feels like you're just kind of sitting at the beach and it's quiet. So I think we're going to do that. And then tomorrow afternoon, I think the other place that we like to go, and we eat outside. We're still pretty much, when we go to restaurants, we only go to places that we eat outside. So tomorrow afternoon, I think we will go somewhere else. And that one happens to be a brewery. So we will probably, they have a really lovely mango IPA. And I don't drink very often, but that is really, really nice. So for my birthday, I might enjoy that, and we'll have some food. And so kind of like an early-ish dinner, which is nice because it's quieter at that point. And just enjoy yourselves. And then hopefully stay in and stitch on Sunday, my actual birthday. So those are my plans. Is anybody else doing 24 hours of cross stitch? I won't get 24 hours. I'll be lucky to get 12. That is always my goal, is a half marathon of stitching versus the full 24. I know a marathon's 26, but that's how I always count it. But if you're doing it, let me know. I know, was it Rainy Day Reads? I think she did one last time. Did you? Or did you make your own? I don't remember. I remember following what she was doing on Instagram. I don't remember. So I don't know if she's doing one again this weekend. I think she's just got a Flosstube out that she just put out. So maybe I'll watch that and see. But are you doing it? What are the plans do you have this weekend? Anything fun? Anything going on? All that good stuff. Obviously, as we get colder here and it's warming up in other parts of the world, type of thing. You know, what's going on? I guess is what is my point. What's going on? That's it. That's all I've got. Now I'm just rambling. So I'm excited for this weekend. Again, low-key plans, nothing major, but that's okay. We did go last night. He had a tough day. So I said, let's go walk down at the beach. So we did walk on the boardwalk for a little bit. That was a lot of fun. It was a little chillier. We just threw on heavier jackets, and the wind kind of died down, and it was a beautiful night. And now it gets dark so early. I think it was 6:30, and it was dark when we left, but it was nice while we were walking. The sun was, you know how at the beach, at the shore, you know, usually the sun's setting in the other direction, but you had the blue ocean, then you had the horizon, which was a lighterish blue, and then you had and it was like very distinct lines, and it was very pink, and then it was darker blue above, and it was really pretty, type of thing. So anyway, all right, that's it. That's all I got. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. It's funny. Many of you, I've mentioned many times before, I meditate, and I try to do so on a daily basis because I'm already still a disaster, but that would make me a more disaster if I didn't. And there's something called a meditation. And it's funny because whenever I do them, I think about when I end my videos, I do half of, I say, I hope you are versus may you be normally, but I'm actually unconsciously, subconsciously doing my meditation when I say goodbye to you. But I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. I hope you are happy, and I hope your life is filled with ease. So until next time, happy stitching. Bye.